Isn't it crazy, isn't it cruel, that a man can earn millions from kicking the ball, while for other countries we roll the dice for a little clean water and a bowl of rice.
Good morning everyone, this is Natalie and you are watching Witches of the Moon. This week we are discussing being an empath and how to cope. Now, I have not had an opportunity to watch every video this week. I have watched a couple and I am going to be kind of reiterating some of what's already been discussed, but I'll try to keep that brief or just give my personal spin to the topic as usual. A lot of people question what is being an empath. How do you know if you're an empath? And I want to tell you that everyone on the planet, even animals, have empathy. It's why we haven't killed everyone else off the planet yet. It is our ability to understand and relate to the emotions of others. The opposite of which is apathy, when you don't care about the emotions or feelings of other people, and those tend to be serial killers. So it's why we cry at movies. It's why we want to share good news with our friends, because we want that empathy from other people. So how do you know if you are an empath? Well, empaths are people who are particularly sensitive to those energies, particularly emotional energies. So, best example I could give, the way I figured out I was an empath, is I have always been clairvoyant. I've always picked up on things that were not kind of a general knowledge, things that weren't stated. I would have prophetic visions and dreams of people, places I'd never seen, and they would pop up just the way I described them. And it used to really wake my mom out. But coming with that is being an empath and being able to pick up on other people's energies. And again, the best example I can give of that is I used to work for an agency that worked with children birth to 3. And we had a young lady who came to work for the agency. And she hadn't been with the agency long, I think maybe a month. And we don't see each other a lot in that agency because we come together as a team to do an evaluation, and then each person goes out, that's going to provide services to those clients to provide those services. You don't usually go out together. So the only time we see each other is like at meetings or what have you. So I had not had a chance to get to know this young woman very well. And I come into the office one day and I turn and I look at her cubicle and I just knew. It was a voice in my head that said, this is not a good day. She's not happy. She needs to hear that she is loved today. So I wrote a little note, just wanted you to know that we love you. And I put it on her desk. And she came in, I went out to see a client, and when I came back to the office, she had come in, and she walked straight up to me and she said, how did you know? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, how did you know that I needed to hear that today? I don't know how I knew, I just knew. It was a voice in my head. For me, that's what it is. It's a voice that tells me this person is feeling this person is feeling that. You need to let them know. It's always when they need something that I really hear it as a voice. Otherwise, it's simply an impression for me. Being an empath means that you are overly affected by the emotions of others. So good and bad. And the thing is that we tend to focus on the negative, and I think because we notice the negative more, we don't mind being happy. So when we absorb other people's happiness, we don't mind that so much. But the negative tends to be very much a weight. And it could be somebody that's just in your general vicinity, could be your neighbor is having a really bad day and you're just, you're feeling bad, you got a headache. For me, it manifests a lot as headaches. I get headaches a lot when there's a lot of negativity around me. And I'll feel very ill, nauseous. I become very tired and worn down. I just don't have the energy to get up and go and do anything. And everybody experiences these things at some point in time. And it could be due to empathy. It could be due to you're picking up on those for some particular reason. There's someone you're particularly close to or something that's going on that's making you more susceptible to that. But for me, it's an all the time thing. I find that for me, it's a lot like white noise. It's chatter. You just kind of, and it can be very difficult to tune out. I learned at a young age how to kind of block out the white noise, so to speak. For me, it's very natural to learn how to block it out. As I've gotten older, it's gotten harder to block out some of that white noise, particularly the negative emotion. I live with someone who tends to be a negative Nelly, as I like to call it, or a drama llama, and there's a lot of negativity. So I do a lot of cleansing in my home. I do a lot of, with water, Florida water, going through the home and cleansing the home. I do a lot of saging and burning of dragon's blood to try to clear out some of that negative energy. I use my besom to sweep out some of that negative energy pretty frequently. And I also do one very important thing. And when coping with empathy, this for me is the big one. I meditate. This one's been difficult simply because I don't get a lot of time in privacy and quiet to meditate. When you meditate, particularly for the purpose of clearing out that negative energy that you get from other people or from your experiences with other people, it's important that you have no interruption. So you've got to leave the phone behind. You've got to leave anything that's going to chime, anything that's going to give you a notification, turn off whatever. And I actually prefer to do it in a dark room because I find even light can be distracting to me. But I have a meditation that I will do when I am wanting to clear out the negative energy from being an empath. And I think that meditation is one of the key things that will really help you. Another thing that I like to do is journaling. And I do these generally for not just for dealing with the empath side of things, but also just to deal with my own emotions. It allows me to process. It's almost like a process paper. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a process paper is it is a therapy technique that marriage and family therapists, social workers, and family counselors will use when someone has gone through a particularly traumatic experience. You have them basically journal about that experience, get their feelings out on paper, what have you. And I find that for me, journaling was a very useful item. I try to do it still, but ever since my journals were read by someone, okay, I'm going to scream today. I really am. That tree, I don't know what's been going on with it, but it's been cutting out in the middle, and the thing is, if I just jimmy a little wire up at the top, it comes right back on. I don't understand what the issue is, but sorry that it went out in the middle of the video. Oh, see, there it goes, see? It must be picking up on my negative energy. Maybe my tree is empathic as well. Anyway, I think it's doing it to make me crazy. I really do. I think it's teasing me. Anyway, I do find that journaling and meditation are two key things for dealing with the empathy. And it doesn't have to be a big, long meditation. If you're finding that you're being overwhelmed by emotion or by some situation, you need to get yourself away from that situation for the time being. Distance helps with coping if you can tell what the source of the energy draw is. Again, I think we tend to focus more on the negative side of being an empath just because it affects us so strongly, more than most people. You know, most people can kind of go, whatever, and just block it out. But if you're an empath, it's very hard to do that. It's like I said, it's like a constant white noise in your mind and in your head and really in your heart, particularly if it's negative. And so it can be difficult to cope with being an empath. A lot of people are empathic and don't even realize it. They just know that they have these big mood swings. They think they need to be medicated because they have these wild mood swings. Well, it may not be that you need to be medicated. It could be the people around you need to be medicated. So if you find that you go through a lot of wild mood swings that you really can't explain, look around you. Start journaling these experiences so that you can track what's going on around you at the time or who you're with at the time. and see if that is something that's affecting you, because it may not be you particularly, it may be events within your environment. Empaths are very sensitive to events and energies within the environment, so keep that in mind. If you're easily frustrated, or if you're just kind of like, you know, take stock of what's happened or who you've been around and what their state of being has been like for that day. A lot of times, you know, my friends that are empathic, they'll call me up and say, what's going on? I have one in particular that she just wrote me out of the blue, hey girlie, spill it, what's happening? And I don't know how she narrowed it down to me, but I was having a particularly rough day that day. And, you know, I don't like to dump on my friends, but we all need each other. So if someone offers you an ear, take it. I find that a lot of people who are empathic tend to have days where they just seem like they're bitching. And it's not that they're really trying to bitch, it's that they may be dealing with a lot of what's going on around them in terms of what they're picking up on energy-wise. And we can sometimes come off as cranky. It's difficult to deal with. It really is. And I don't want to go into rambling on this video, so I'm probably going to end this video here. But I can tell you, watch your environment, pay attention to what's going on around you. You could be empathic and not even realize it. If you suffer from a lot of mood swings, start taking stock of what's going on around you and start noticing, is it that something was going on the TV, you know, that there was a lot of laughter, you were feeling really good, and then when you got out and, you know, to work, you know, so-and-so was having a bad day, and all of a sudden you've got a headache and you're not feeling well and what have you. Take stock of those things. Daily meditation really helps because it helps you to clear out the clutter. A strong meditation when you're particularly overwhelmed, a longer meditation really helps. Cutting out any excess noise so that you can focus on clearing that negativity or that energy from yourself is very good. And I do want to tell you, you do need to cleanse and clear out the positive as well as the negative. You need balance. So bear that in mind. That's why I say daily meditation is always good. Cleansing and saging. You can sage yourself. You really can. I hope that you got something from this video, and I do apologize that it's kind of, I don't do these scripted, so I'm just giving my little spiel, my perspective, my experience in this. So I hope that this helps you all in some way, and if you have any questions or comments, you know where to leave them. Thanks, and I hope you all have a wonderful Yule.